Hey YouTube, Ender Angel here again with the next episode of the Marvel Zombies Complete Collection. The issue we will be covering is Marvel Zombies number 1. This was the first issue of a 5 comic book miniseries of Marvel Zombies. Due to the graphic nature of this comic book, viewer discretion is advised. Also, spoiler alert, I will be covering this issue in depth. I will be narrating the pages, so you've been warned. Spoilers are ahead. Since this particular issue has multiple versions of the covers, I will show all of them in the order that they were printed. Covers 1 through 4 printings. Our story starts with Magneto looking kind of rough as he celebrates a small victory. He has destroyed the device the Fantastic Four used to escape to the Ultimate Universe. Now all the remaining zombies are trapped in this one. However, the downside to this fact is that he is now surrounded by the infected heroes. Zombie Spider-Man asks Magneto if he really wants to go through the trouble of fighting them off. He suggests he should just give in to the inevitable and give up. Zombie Steve Rogers, known as Colonel America in this universe, promises him a quick and easy death before they feast on his flesh. Wolverine objects to this idea, saying he has been waiting years to hear him squeal. Daredevil tells him that he is about to pass out. Why would he want to put himself through one last struggle? Magneto scoffs at the comment and says he has plenty of fight left for the likes of them. Magneto starts to pull debris of steel and bolts and anything metal that he can pull out of the ground to use as a weapon against them. He then sends the flying debris at the former heroes like a hail of gunfire. Magneto uses the distraction to attempt to fly away. Spider-Man and Colonel America jump after him. As they do, they taunt him that there is no escape for him. Steve was able to grab on to his leg and hold on. Spider-Man, however, wasn't so lucky. He has run out of the supply of web fluid. Magneto looks down to see that Spider-Man is falling to the street below. He is also very happy to see that Colonel America has brought his metal shield with him. With his mastery of magnetism, he uses it to shave off the top of his head. Meanwhile, Spider-Man's fall has broken his right leg wide open. Steve makes a less than graceful landing. Colonel America is surprisingly still not dead. He tells Spider-Man he should get double rations when they catch him. Magneto isn't beaten yet, and Colonel America dropped his shield, so Mag decides to take it with him. Magneto, still stunned and exhausted from fighting, decides to make his way down to the street slowly by climbing down the building. He figures this way he'll draw less attention towards himself and give him a chance to rest. The final drop slams him hard on the ground, showing just how weary he is. Magneto tries to motivate himself, saying that he is the most powerful mutant on the planet, and that he can survive this madness. If only he could find a place to hide and recover. He sees Angel fly past him, then a few seconds later Thor. He figures he'll need to walk out of here to avoid being spotted. Magneto is suddenly surprised to be contacted by a member of his acolytes. He thought they had all been killed. The acolytes tell him that they were able to fight off a horde of zombies. However, their comms and other systems were damaged during the fighting. Magneto questions if they are truly alive, since the picture is scrambled and he can barely see them. The acolytes tell him that Magneto's home, Asteroid M, is still intact and operational. They report that there are 12 survivors on board. Magneto allows himself a moment to hope that there may be others out there, that maybe a resistance could be formed. The acolytes offer to come and get him, Magneto tells them no, he doesn't want to risk their lives. He tells them he will come to them. Magneto then requests radio silence to avoid attracting the attention of the undead. He opens a manhole cover in hopes of tunneling under the city. However, it attracts the attention of Hawkeye, who yells to the others that he's found him. Hawkeye looks forward to feasting on Eric's flesh as he draws back his bow. Magneto, refusing to yield, defends himself with Colonel America's shield. Magneto takes an arrow to the side of his body. Hawkeye, however, takes the worst of it, being decapitated. Eric drops to his knees in pain as he attempts to assess the wound. Colonel America shows up just in time to reclaim his shield. Magneto tells him to keep it. With a smile on his face, he magnetically pulls him into a brick wall using the shield. However, the rest of the zombie horde are fast approaching. They start to taunt him to give up, that he is defeated. However, he still has some fight left in him. He uses his powers to pull the arrow from his side, and then he sends it soaring towards Thor. Then he uses pieces of nearby cars to pelt the former heroes, throwing them off balance. The injured Magneto reaches out with his powers while they are distracted. He pulls on the support beams of the nearby building until they start to snap, like toothpicks. He ensures that the debris falls towards those pursuing him. They scramble out of the way, trying not to be crushed. Magneto boasts that as long as they are surrounded by metal in the city, he won't be easily defeated. However, the Wasp has escaped his notice as she sneaks up on him. She returns to normal size, grabbing him from behind and biting his neck. Hey guys, taking a brief break to remind you to like and subscribe, as this will really help the channel out. Plus, hit the bell icon so you'll be notified so you don't miss any of our future videos. If you don't, Galactus will consume the Earth. Please help out. The others quickly start to move in to make sure they get a piece of this grisly feast. Hank Pym, the giant man, tells the Wasp that they should shrink down and share the piece she has in her mouth. She tells him that she doesn't intend to share as she flies away, that a piece like this could last her a long time. So Hank must get to him quickly before the others devour him. In one final act of defiance, Magneto yells at them that he hopes that they choke on him. The giant man tells them to stop fighting over him, that there will be enough for each of them to have a taste. Thor was able to push ahead of the group, grabbing Magneto by the cape. However, out of nowhere, the Incredible Hulk jumps in, grabbing him by the leg, as the torque pulls it from his body. Hulk looks surprised that he was only able to pull away the leg. Giant Man tells him that the leg is all he's going to get, and not to try to fight them for any more. A superpowered zombie feeding frenzy breaks out as they start to devour the master of magnetism. The zombies take a moment after they complete their nightmarish meal. Thor complains that he is still feeling hungry. Meanwhile, after feeding, the Hulk has turned back into Bruce Banner. Banner tells Thor the arrow in his throat may be blocking some of the food, and when it moves past it, he'll feel better. Spider-Man interjects, thanking them for throwing back some of Magneto to him. He was having trouble getting close with his broken leg. The giant man assures him that it was merely luck that he got any, that they would not have willingly thrown any to him while they were feeding. Peter then asks if any of the doctors in the group have a theory if his leg will heal. Bruce Banner tells him that he wasn't sure how any of their bodies were working, that he felt his stomach burst when he changed from the Hulk into Bruce Banner. How any of the food that they were even eating was being digested, he wasn't even sure. Giant Man adds that their bodies aren't even feeling pain. Bruce with his burst stomach, Thor with the arrow in his neck, and Spider-Man with his leg. Daredevil then points out the gaping hole in his chest, where his heart used to be. He states, his only complaint was there was swelling in his ankles. Giant Man checks his legs and tells him that it is more than just mere swelling. His legs have filled with blood since his heart is no longer pumping. Matt Murdock says he'll need to drain them so they don't slow him down. Luke Cage snaps at him that as long as he's sitting next to him, he won't be doing that. Bruce again chimes in, saying that their bodies are clearly not functioning the way they should. Logan tells him that his healing factor appears to be gone as well, that clearly they are dead but not dying. Giant Man concludes that as long as their brains are intact, they will remain functioning. However, he does bring up the fact that decomposition could pose a problem for them. Colonel America rejoins the group, holding a part of his brain matter. He tells them maybe they should rethink the brain theory, that he has already suffered massive trauma to his. Angel then states the obvious, that he can see his brains hanging out. Bruce argues that the human body can still function even with damage to the brain. He asks if anyone knows where Hawkeye's head has gone to see if it survived. Peter starts to feel the moral dilemma that they find themselves in. With the hunger temporarily gone, he is thinking much clearer. He asks them to look at what they've become. Luke has heard all this before from Peter, as he prepares himself for his meltdown. As Peter starts to reminisce about the horror of eating Mary Jane and his Aunt May, the Giant Man interrupts him, telling him that they've all eaten friends and loved ones, and that they only have so long after eating to figure out a cure. Peter tells them that he doesn't want to figure it out, that he wants the nightmare to be over and to be dead. Hank yells at him to stop interrupting while they try to think. Suddenly, Bruce yells at the group that a bone is about to burst through his skin of his stomach. He asks them to attack him so he'll get angry and transform back into the Hulk. So Thor tries to help him out. However, without pain, he does not become angry. Luke Cage becomes disturbed by the sight of Banner's broken nose. Sadly for Bruce, it didn't help, as the bone burst through him, leaving a gaping hole. Meanwhile, Luke notices something in the sky behind Angel. He tries to draw their attention, asking if anyone else saw the flying object. Spider-Man says they all saw the bone of Magneto rip a hole through Bruce. Luke tells them that he saw something or someone fly by in the sky. They all frantically search the sky, but don't see anything. Giant Man then asks what it was he thinks he saw. Just then, out of luck, the Silver Surfer flies past them again, surveying the planet. Cage tells them that is what he saw fly by. Matt asks if he just saw what he thought he saw. Now, the Marvel Zombies are back on the hunt. So, this concludes our episode of Marvel Zombies #1 from the Marvel Zombie Collection. In our next issue, we will be covering is Marvel Zombies #2. Here is a preview of the next issue. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell as it really helps the channel out. Plus, it helps you to know when we upload next. Thanks guys, see you next time.